This is the Grow Business Podcast with Corey Mosley.
Got the rock beats going on today. I feel like my microphone is low here. I feel like I'm always adjusting stuff. LG, you're in the house.
Good to see you, Corey.
He's coming to take notes today, baby. I like that. We got dressed up and everything, so we could come take some notes and have a good conversation.
Like I told
I
you,
like
man.
that.
Like
Yeah,
I told
for
you,
sure.
Until junior high school, that I had to show up at the dinner table with a collared shirt on.
A college shirt.
Shirt.
That's hilarious. What were you? My mic is magically going up. What were you? What was the point of that? Just what was that about?
Like you got to show up proper to the dinner table.
Okay, always.
The family had dinner together. You got to wash yourself up.
Well,
up.
everybody's sharp today, so that's good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we got some clients in the house. That's some clients in the house. That's what we're talking about. We want to make that green and grow.
Make that green darker.
That is right. That is right. Well, listen, I'm super excited to have you joining me today.
Good to be here.
We're talking about hiring. We're not talking about firing today, because that's another episode. So we're talking about 5 hiring mistakes. That's what we're going to get into today. 5 hiring mistakes that, frankly, can put you out of business. I mean, we're seeing places go out of business. It's not just business practices. It's a lot of things, right? Having the wrong people in the business. I see a lot of businesses with family members who are taking the business right down the tubes. I mean, it's just the truth, unfortunately. Right. So, just because someone's related to you, that doesn't mean they need to be they're a de facto manager. Or now the sales manager inside the organization is your cousin or your son, but we didn't get them any training. They just have the right last name, right? I mean, that's so many different things. Because, frankly, I think contrary to the media hype, there is no such thing as a self-made person.
No. That's true.
People say, I'm self-made. Yeah, that's really tricky, because for most people, somewhere along the way, they received help in some situation. Some of that may be financial. Some of that may be someone opening the door, creating an opportunity. But this idea of a self-made person is kind of silly, I think, something that we've accepted as a thing. But most people, everyone needs help to start, maintain, and especially grow.
100%.
Because and that help may come in the form of clients, right? So right now, which is funny, we've talked about this before, being taught not to talk to strangers. If we want to grow any of our businesses, it's more than likely going to come from people that we don't know right now.
100%.
Right?
Yeah.
We had a great previous month inside our studio and production organization, and that came from people who did not know us or what we were doing. Right? Those are strangers. So we needed help. We needed help in the form of new clients, new people to serve. So how can we all be self-made in that process, And I
cut you off here,
no,
but I think the concept of self-made means you're living in a vacuum. Means you're only getting better on your own without a book,
right?
Without a radio, without a cassette. I mean, you can go back to Dr. Willie Jolly talks about he started out selling cassettes, and he still got some of them, right?
Right,
I mean,
for sure.
But being self-made means you live in a vacuum. It means you've got no outside influence at all.
Right.
And what that does is it belittles 2 things. It belittles the outside influence, and it belittles your willingness to embrace that outside influence and adapt it and personalize it.
Yeah. No, 100%. And help comes in all forms. Now, even if we use the traditional model as a employee in this context, right? That can be a full-fledged employee. Mm-hmm. That can be a freelancer, someone working in this kind of gig economy. That can be a short-term provider or a contractor. Right? So help is coming all those things. The problem is making a bad hire, whether it is a contractor, a freelancer, or an employee, not only costs you time and money, but in the social media world, can also cost you your company's reputation.
100%.
Right? So you have to have a strong team, because a strong team makes for healthy business, and that's how you get positioned to do what we're talking about on the screen here, grow, right?
Well, I think one of the mistakes, especially the people in the hiring process, the people who ultimately have the ability to make the decision, in small businesses is often the owner.
Yeah.
But when you have the ability to make that hiring decision, you're not looking at the way that person shows up in the community. You're not looking at that person as your advocate and an ambassador for your brand. And so to your point, when they get on social media and start sharing things that aren't consistent, and we've had conversations about branding before and how you show up with consistency, if these people don't represent your brand and they they take away from it or distract from it, it could hurt your reputation and your brand. And that goes to how are you deciding to hire somebody?
Right. Well, we're going to get to the 5 in just a second, but something popped in my head that I learned a long time ago. This isn't, I give credit where credit's due. If I picked up a good nugget, I like to, I'm not one of those people who likes to take someone else's quote and put my name on it, right, and then put it out as a meme as if I said it. And I don't actually know who told me this, but I learned this a long time ago. I was taught hire slow, fire fast. That's what I was taught a long time ago. And I see day after day inside organizations where they do it in reverse. They hire fast, and then they take forever to remove someone or let someone go or let someone have a new opportunity somewhere else. If we want to be polite, William's laughing over there. Well, William, our producer.
I think you want to be careful about that fire fast, though. I think you want to fire deliberate. And what I mean by that is firing fast often is a reaction.
Okay. Well, I mean, now you may be getting into the weeds.
Okay, maybe a little bit. Right.
Yeah. Not fire fast as in something happened, we overreacted, and now we're making a knee-jerk reaction.
Right.
But not sitting on. There's somebody there's a business owner right now listening to this that has an employee who is not getting it done, not performing in the situation that they should be. They've given them chances.
Okay.
And they're not making a decision. They may be passive aggressive. They may not like confrontation as an owner, which a lot of people don't, right? We think about the most boisterous people. We think about the squeaky wheel gets the grease kind of thinking, but most people aren't like that. They're not most people are not confrontational by nature, right?
Right.
So that's what I mean. It's like people who are past their prime, people who we know need to go and need to be gone, and maybe need to be removed out of the organization, sitting on that. But we're not going to talk about firing. I want to get to these 5. We're going to talk about these 5 mistakes, 5
Sounds
biggest
good.
mistakes.
Yeah.
In no particular order, but the number 1 does happen to be a very, very significant one. So now, mind you, Lon has no idea what these 5 are. So he's getting them. He's getting them right now, just like you are. So
pulling the curtain back.
So for those of you that watch us on YouTube that stream this, and you're watching the video, the face of anticipation that Lon has is simply the fact that he doesn't know what I'm getting ready to say, which is also how I like it. I like to keep everybody on tilt when we're doing this. Okay, here's number 1. And what's fun is you can tell me if you've ever heard any of these before also, right? It's good to bounce that off you. All right, number 1 is making a rescue hire. Now, I got this term from Donald Miller, CEO of Story Brand. So I'm going to give credit where credit's due. Making a rescue hire. So for those of you that are going, I wonder what is a rescue hire? Okay. A rescue hire is a hire that gets made hoping that person directly will save the day. You're hiring somebody because you're hoping they're going to come in and save whatever it is. You're hiring this salesperson so he can save the sales department. You're hiring someone in logistics to save, right? What that leads you to do is that leads you to be predisposed to whoever the candidate is that can breathe. We used to say, I come from the auto industry. We had a saying in the auto industry, a lot of guys would hire based on a person's ability to fog a mirror. If they were breathing and alive and could fog the mirror, they could get hired. Right? Are they alive? Are they breathing? Can they show up not drunk? I've literally had people say this to me. Corey, I'm just looking for somebody that could just show up not drunk that I can hire. So a lot of people go, I have a problem. I'm going to hire someone to solve the problem. That is the definition then of a rescue hire.
Okay.
Because that typically means you're also not bringing someone into your organization that you're bringing into your organization to fold into your culture, your policies, procedures, your way. You're bringing someone in going, I hope they could fix whatever my issue is. I hope they can solve. I hope they can rescue. Right.
Well, and I have a saying: talent is transferable, success is not. You may hire somebody that you think has talent for what you need, and you're hiring them to rescue your business, to save your business because you had a hole, you had somebody leave, whatever.
Right.
But to your point, success also needs to have a culture fit. It needs to have a skill fit, a talent fit, a personality fit. They need to be able to work with the people that are already in the organization. Otherwise, you're going to alienate everybody that's already there, and then you bring in one and you lose 5.
Right. Well, and it gets dangerous because when you're in rescue mode, you look past all the red flags.
Right. And you're desperate.
Right.
You're desperate.
Yeah. So you're hiring for someone, you're hiring for a job that requires someone being on time. You can't hire someone who shows up late.
Right.
I've got a friend of mine and also a business partner, Lex Meredith. He if you show up, dude, if you're a minute late, he won't interview you. If you're coming for a job interview or anything that he's doing, and your interview's at 3:00, and you roll in at 3:01, I was circling the parking lot, I couldn't park. He's not even hearing what you're saying.
Right. He's already shut you off.
Right. He's already shut you off.
Right.
And you're out.
Well, in addition to, this is a piece of the desperate hire too, right? Let's say you just lost somebody really talented.
Right.
Or let's say you just fired somebody that was really talented, but they had some things that drove you crazy that caused you to fire them. What we tend to do in desperation, and I call it ex-girlfriend syndrome or ex-boyfriend syndrome, whatever you want, is we tend to look for the next person to have the characteristics that we didn't like about the person and we overlook all the good things that they had.
Right.
And only focus on what they didn't have that we didn't like, and the reason that we either got rid of them or broke up with them.
Yeah.
So they may show up on time.
Right.
But we overlooked that value because we're so focused on the fight that we had every day.
Sure.
And we just want somebody we can get along with.
That's a whole new episode.
Right.
The connection between relationships, dating, relationships, and business, right?
Right. But the point being, though, is we tend to focus on solving the problem that was wrong if we're trying to replace somebody instead of trying to build a complete solution.
Yeah. So, folks, don't do rescue hires. If you feel like you're...
Avoid it.
Just say no.
Right.
Right? So just say no. All right. Number two.
Let's solve that too, though.
Okay.
Instead of just saying don't do it.
Yeah.
How do you solve
Well,
it?
this is the mistake show.
Okay.
You got to tune into the next one for the...
Perfect. No need to solve it then. Right.
No, but your solution becomes, right, understanding that the hire is an asset, not a solution to your problem.
Right.
Right. And you have to be clear not to abandon the principles of your organization. That's just like bringing somebody in and they don't have to follow any of your policies or procedures. You see this in sales organizations. It permeated for years, right? Top salesman, bad paperwork, late, doesn't show up to meeting, but does a heck of a job selling, does the biggest numbers.
Right.
So, we used to have we had a lot of sayings. You're going to hear a lot of car business sayings as you put it, but I've heard owners say, this guy could tinkle on my desk as long as he's bringing in the sales, right? And the problem is that creates a whole mutiny and a whole another set of problems when you're dealing with an organization that you're trying to grow, right? All right. Number 2. And folks, if you're just tuning in, we're talking about the 5 hiring mistakes that could put you out of business. All right, number 2. Lon's waiting with bated breath. Yeah.
I can.
Yeah, I saw that. Fog the mirror. You're hired. All right, number 2. Having the wrong people conducting the interviews. Right? Oh, I'm the business owner, so I know who I want to hire. Well, you're hiring somebody for marketing. do you know anything? I mean, what do you know?
Right.
What are you looking for? What are you not looking for? Right. So hiring the wrong people. Now, most people don't realize that interviewing is a skill. Right. So just because you carry the title of business owner or manager, that doesn't make you the ideal person to conduct the interview, particularly if that person you're hiring is not even reporting directly to you.
Right. Yeah.
Right. I'm CEO of a company and I've got 100 employees. I'm hiring for an entry level position that's 5, 6, 7 layers away from me on a daily basis. I'm not advocating not knowing your employees or not being involved, but you're going to be 7 steps away from me, right? And yet I'm making a hiring decision, and I'm skipping over the immediate supervisor that has to work with them, any managers in between, any of those potential layers. Like think about an extrovert for a second. An extrovert hiring for a position that may be ideal for an introvert could result in a great candidate being passed over because, of course, they didn't hit it off.
Right.
They didn't have the personality.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I do.
I mean, it's kind of like William. If I was to interview, you're not, guys, if you meet William, it takes a lot to get him excited. Like excited in terms of like visually where like you want to do like what I'm doing if you're watching on YouTube, like excited, that's never going to happen. Right. So if I was interviewing him, looking for excitement and judging him based on how excited we all get, he's probably never getting hired.
Well, if you were a cardiologist interviewing William for a job, you think his EKG was a flat line.
Right.
So you wouldn't even think he was alive.
He's got that similar blood pressure as you. He's got that low blood pressure. These guys got nice. I mean, low pressure is a good thing. I mean, low it's good.
I mean, William's cooler than the Blue Mountains on the beer can.
So what is it? The other side of the pillow, cooler than the other side of the pillow.
Exactly.
That you say, I got my sport. You like that? When I make a sports reference, you got to recognize. Right. Yeah, absolutely. But what do you think about that? Having the wrong people conducting the interviews.
Well, I think there's 2 things, Corey. You said 2 things that really could go in a lot of different directions. One, if the person isn't reporting, if the person doing the interviewing, or at least having an ability to influence the decision for hiring, doesn't have responsibility, and that the person you're hiring reports to somebody other than the person hiring, then that's not fair to the person that has to lead them. Yeah. That's not fair, and that's a recipe for disaster because that person is like, well, I didn't have any influence. It's not my hire. I have no level of investment in that. So there's that level. The second thing is, too, you talked about the further away you get from that role, if you're the business owner that's hiring 3 or 4 levels away, you're neglecting the business owner role. Right. You are sacrificing the one thing that only you can do to focus on hiring somebody that you really aren't qualified to make the final decision on. Sure. Because if you take that away from the person who the new hire is going to report to, you've lost not only the new hire, you've lost the person that they report to. You've lost credibility and confidence. Okay. So I agree with all that. Yeah. 100%. Yeah.
All right, folks, stop doing that. Right.
Let the people that lead and let them hire. Right.
Stop it.
Right. We might get to number 4 before then.
Yeah, no, we're rolling. Good. No, because I want, listen, these podcasts, we don't have time constraints, nor do we want to belabor the point. So I want people to be able to, and we've done some great, hour-long podcasts, and we go where the flow goes as long as we can provide value and get the information, to the people that we need to have the information to. And that's what's important. So, and belaboring, hey, we've given the example. We've talked about 1. We've talked about 2. We're going to go into 3. And we're giving the example. And what I like about this and why we try to do and structure our content like this, right? 5, what's coming. Right. We're going to get to 5 here, we hope. But we're going to go off the rails in some other direction. That reminds me of a story from band camp.
From Colonial Heights Chiefs.
Yeah, Colonial Heights. Well, shout out to Colonial Heights. Colonial Heights, Virginia, Colonial Heights Chiefs. I mean, that's another episode as well. This is why you got to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss. So you don't miss any of those things. 13-0. That's right. 13-0. Have you seen did I show you my Chiefs picture?
I don't think so.
Oh, I thought I brought it in. I thought I showed you. You saw the Chiefs. Somebody saw the Chiefs picture. Okay, all right. William said he's seen. I don't know why he's talking in terms of he's mute. Why are you doing mute talk? You got mute talk. All right. Let's get to number 3. Okay. And I don't know what William messaged me about Allen Iverson. What point were you making about
Allen Iverson was number 3.
Oh, is he? That was his. Yeah. That's not why he did it, though. Oh. He says, we're talking about practice. Oh. That's a saying he said, we talking about practice? Oh, okay. We talking about practice. All right. I don't know where that fits in. I'm completely thrown off. But when William sends me something and he messages me something, I like to comment on it. All right. Let's talk about number 3. Here's number 3. Number 3. He's waiting. Lon's waiting. Are you ready, Lon, for number 3?
Anxiously awaiting.
Okay. Had you heard any of these other 2?
I mean, not
in the context,
not to prepare for this. I have heard them, but
good.
not to prepare for this.
You've never heard of a rescue hire till I said it.
Oh, I've heard of that.
No, you had a face that said no.
Well,
wrong answer, Lon. Lon is no. This is
That's
profound,
the first time in my life
groundbreaking information, Corey.
That was philosophical expertise right there.
Right. This is how you stay on the podcast. This is how you continue to be on the podcast. This is excellent work. All right, number 3. Not reviewing a candidate's social media before hiring them. We've got people out here. I do a whole keynote presentation on this where we talk about levels of engagement of employees. Right. Actively engaged, disengaged, actively disengaged. You have people right now potentially inside your organization that will clock out at 5 o'clock today and post some of the craziest stuff about you, their day, their job, your customers, your clients, your potential clients. You have people who are engaged in behavior that doesn't align with your values as an organization or a company. Right. Now, depending on what you do, how you view this, that matters or it doesn't matter, right? If you've got an employee who posts themselves hammered every weekend on their social media, and that does not affect your values or that doesn't matter to you, then fine. But if it does and you don't know, that's the key. If you're hiring someone in your organization that may have completely different values, those values could be their opinions on race and this ethnicity. They may not like the G-Dogs. They may have a problem with Coach Prime. Who knows?
Right.
But you get to decide, right? I mean, you get to decide if they're in line with the values that you're talking about. And I'm saying that from the perspective of not discrimination.
Right.
Right? Because that's not what we're talking about. Right. We're talking about behavior. We're talking about things that could affect your bottom line, right? And just as a way to get a more 360 view of a candidate, someone that you're considering hiring, getting a 360 also means looking at what they're posting online and what they're posting on social media. So you don't have problems down the line because you have businesses that get attacked for the behavior of their employees.
Right. And I think you have to align that with your standards. So what are the standards of your organization? And I think what you're saying, Corey, is this, once somebody's in your organization, then they need to be able to fulfill and live up to the standards that you've established.
Sure. But I need to know what you're into. Yeah, I need to know what you're into
before you get started.
Yeah.
Right. I
don't want to go viral for the wrong reason.
Right. Well, and it's easy enough to do that when you know. So, and if you don't know, on you.
That's right.
So take a look. I mean, take 15. Have somebody on your team
that needs to be part of your priorities.
Right. Exactly. 100%. It needs to be. You need to understand. And you know what? If they've got private social page and they're blocking everybody and it's only their friends and you can't see it, well, then you can't really do anything about that. But if it's public information and they're out doing things that are detrimental to your organization or could be perceived as detrimental to your organization, then you want to know that. That's got to be part of your decision-making. Doesn't mean it's a disqualifier, but if it's not part of your decision-making process, then you're hiring, then it's a bad decision to hire.
Yeah, you don't want to create that problem.
100%.
Because there's legal implications, there's all other types of things, particularly once you hire somebody,
Right.
and you find out these things.
Right.
So
After that first 90 days,
right.
they're yours.
And again, that's missions, values, goal, whatever. So it's not imposing your belief system on somebody. It's just saying that kind of your thing is not our thing, right?
That's why I like standards.
Yeah, correct.
Standards
correct.
is a good word.
Okay, good. All right, rolling right along. Now, had you heard that one? You heard that one? Checking social media? I mean, come on.
That's something I'm familiar with. Yes.
Okay, here we go.
Just not before I got
This
here.
guy's
I
heard of
didn't know it
everything.
was
He's heard of all. He's heard it all.
I hired a lot of people and made some mistakes doing it too. So,
Yeah, if you would have had these five,
if I'd have known these,
if you would have had these five lined up,
minimize my mistakes.
you would have been all right.
Bated breath, baby. I got
Yeah.
fogged.
Listen, I definitely checked your social media. Okay. All right, mistake number 4. Mistake number 4. We're halfway. We're over halfway there. Number 4. Mistake number 4. Now, this is a Mosley original.
Okay.
So if you're telling me that you heard this one before, then somebody didn't credit me. Number 4 is no 90-day stay plan. I'm going to let that marinate on you for a minute. See, most businesses are quick to remind new hires that they're on you even just said it a minute ago, that they're on a 90-day probation period.
Right.
Right, where they could be terminated for any reason,
Right.
which I love because it's like, oh, Lon, welcome to the family. We really want to treat you, we want you to feel like family here and be right part of it. And oh, by the way, we could fire you for any reason in 90 days. Welcome.
Especially in Virginia.
Right. Welcome.
Right. Welcome to the family.
Do
Not just
you
welcome
feel
to the family.
loved now? We forgot to mention we're a family, but we're a dysfunctional one, right? So that belief system and that message of the 90-day fire, the 90-day probationary period, really just keeps people on their best behavior. But see, if you've hired the wrong person, then that won't matter.
Right.
So I say we should be reverse engineering the 90-day probation period and create a plan of action that a business executes to give the new hire the best chance. What are the actions and activities that will take place over the 90 days that puts people in the position to be successful, but also want to stay inside the organization?
Wow. That's
Come on.
That is philosophical
Come
enlightenment
on,
right there.
LG.
You get full credit for that.
All
This
right,
is the
come
first
on,
time
baby
I've
boy.
heard that
Come
one.
on, baby boy.
Right.
I'm
Well-
calling LG baby boy now. Come on, baby boy.
So I think, to your point, in processing that, Corey,
Yeah.
is we always want to create an environment where that person's going to be successful. That's why we hired them.
Mm-hmm.
What you're saying is take it to another level,
Right.
And get and put things
There need to
in
be
place.
specific actions.
Right.
A lunch and learn with the owner.
Right.
A series of check-ins.
Right.
Right. Do they have everything that they need to be successful? Asking that question.
Right.
I talk about radical candor. Having candor-based conversations.
Right.
Right. That open the door for that.
Right.
Right. Training who they meet, how they train. Instead of, welcome, shadow this person for a week.
Right.
You'll learn everything you need to know.
Well, and if you think about it like when you go to school, right? They give you a syllabus on the first day. Here are the days that things are due, and here's what you got. Here's what you
Right.
can expect, and here's what I expect of you.
Right, and not checklist items.
No,
not
no, no,
make
no,
sure
no.
you go to accounting and fill out your W-4.
No, you're going to meet with accounting on the
Yeah.
third day. You're going
Right.
to meet with the CEO on the 15th day.
Right, sure.
100%. Because what it does then too is it predisposes them to preparing for those things.
Right.
Well, if I tell you that on the first day that you're going to meet with the CEO on the 15th day, you're going to start looking on day 1 for things to talk to the CEO about.
Right, sure.
If I tell you on day 14, you're going to be like, well, what did I just do for 2 weeks?
Right.
So 100%. So this is the first time I've heard that.
And
it's
good.
Genius.
Thank you. Oh, tune in next week as Lon Graham will be back. he has solidified his position here. But I don't even know what I was getting ready. I was getting ready to have a follow up, but that's good. That is good. I love it. That plan also. Oh, I know what I was going to say. I was going to say it's funny because organizations will survey their customers to death, Visit a restaurant, you leave 24 hours, there's a survey. How do we do? What can we do better? They'll do that. You buy a car, you buy whatever, you're getting a survey, you're getting follow-up. Why don't we have that activity with our employees? A lot of times we don't want to know, so we don't ask, right? But why don't we have that same philosophy there? So I think it's important. Okay. Dun, 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 dun. What do we got? We got any sound effects for the number 5? What do we got? Drum roll? Do we have anything? We got to get some sound effects in here. Anything? No. Crickets. He's got crickets, though. Yeah. He's got crickets.
Well, he's got crickets.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. There have been days that I would be excited to have crickets.
Hire slow, fire fast. Hold on. Okay, he put some crickets in there. Yeah, not the right sound effect for what we're trying to do. All right, number 5.
Not the appropriate buildup.
Yeah, we're gonna work this out. We're still working on some things, folks. We're only 8 episodes deep. We're still working here. Okay. All right. Here's number 5.
Okay.
And this is good. We've got multiple generations. We've got multiple generations in the room right now, right?
I did refer to a cassette tape earlier.
But you did. You didn't say 8-track
Right.
or reel to reel.
Right, or reel to reel. Right, exactly.
Okay, number 5. Here we go.
Reel means something completely different.
Here we go. Number 5. We're running out of time. All right. Lack of a generational communication strategy. Yeah, look, his eyes got wide on that one. So what am I talking about? Well, when you've got boomers, you've got Gen Xers, you've got Gen Y, you've got Gen Z, you've got all these people in the workforce, right? That means your business has to examine a company's communication strategy. Technology demands, virtual workplaces, all of these structures create changes in companies' cultures, right? So each generation may play a critical role in a company's growth strategy. But a failure to consider those differences can create lost sales opportunities and create a strain on interpersonal relationships and advancement.
100%.
Right? So you're communicating in one way because that communication may be, and again, this is larger companies, right? If you're a business of 2, you don't have the same problem. But the funny thing is, if you've got an outsourced team, if you're working across generations, you've got younger people on your social media, so I'm a company of 1, but I've got 5 freelancers that help me run my business. Some of those are going to be young. Some of those can be older. There's generational differences in there, and I've got to communicate differently.
Right. And it could be in a different country.
You may have some different country, but you also may have some responsibility to keep up with, even terminology. As I say now, which I never thought I would say. As the young people say, because I was one of those people for a long time. But as the kids say today, right, you got to be prepared for that communication because you'll get people looking at you crazy,
right? Because
people talk differently,
right? And
it's not just a sophistication thing; it is generational as well. How people communicate and short language, the short form. You've got, what is it that they do in like the court stenographers? Shorthand.
Oh,
you've got shorthand. You've got short talk. Right. I haven't seen that person IRL.
Right. Exactly.
Right. IRL. What is that? Then you have people who say they say the abbreviation in person. LOL. LOL. That was LOL.
Well, I think to your point. What you're talking about is different languages.
Yep.
And so the communication styles are really come in the form of different languages.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say this: my dad was, career officer in the Air Force. And
thank him for our service. Thank him for our service.
Yeah, thank you. Veterans Day coming up here. One of the things that the military does really well is develop a common language.
Right.
And they develop it so that when the general and the private are talking, they're talking about something using the same terminology, the same language.
That's right.
Whether it be acronyms or whether it be the way they describe things. And this goes back to your point is, if you're talking in different languages, it's like they're saying, well, it's all Greek to me. Well, it's because I don't understand you. And you may be using the same language, but talking completely differently. And so it's all Greek to me means I don't understand you.
Right.
And so that's what you're talking about is people that are in the same space, that are trying to accomplish the same thing, that are communicating very differently. And so that is that goes back to a hiring, like what are you bringing somebody into?
Right.
So it's are you bringing them into a highly functioning organization or a team, and then are you indoctrinating or introducing them into that through your success plan that you talked about, and that 90-day success plan.
Yep.
That's how these things build on each other. So the mistakes that you make are you bringing somebody in to an organization without a structured way to be successful.
Yeah. Don't do that.
Don't do that.
That is today's lessons, folks. If you took anything out of what we said today, don't do that.
Don't do these 5 things.
Yeah, exactly. So we're going to get out of here. Wanted to get you this information. We're just about out of time today, but we wanted to share these 5 hiring mistakes because we want you to be more successful. Everything that we're doing here is we're talking about growth, how you can grow, right? We want to entertain you, but we want to educate you. And we encourage you to share the show as we continue to grow our audience. We'd love for you to follow, like, share anywhere that you are listening to our content. Join the mission. Our mission here is to help you grow and do it in an entertaining way, but do it in a way that's direct and straightforward. And that's what I'm committed to do. That's what the people who come on with me are here to do. That's what Lon's here to do, and any other guests who join me. And that's what we're committed to. And we want to thank you for your viewership. We've been having a lot of fun and have a great ride. And we've got a ton more to do. LG 007's actually his name, /baby boy. Any parting words before we get out of here?
I think for the audience and for the people listening today, continue to listen, because there's going to be more content like this that's going to contribute to your ability to be successful. And I take it all the way back to the beginning when you said, people that describe themselves as self-made. Well, if you're listening to this, we're going to work with you to be successful. So we're going to contribute to that success because we want you to win too.
We want you to win too. We're going to leave it right there. I'm Corey Mosley, and this is
LG 007.
LG 007. This is the Grow Business Podcast. Head over to growwithcorey.com for more free resources and to check out all of our podcasts and learn more information about the services and products that we are offering. We will see you next time. William, take us out, maestro. There you go. Came in raw.